Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge. Welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. It is episode 184. So I'm just going to describe myself real quick. I'm Jerry. I've got brown hair, brown eyes. I've got a headset on. I'm up in my office at the Fledge, and I'm giving a shout out to Release today, part of the One and All program, kickboxing. Check out Release. So today on the show, we have our good friend, our great friend, Johan. How you doing?
Hello, Jerry. Nice to have you.
Oh, it's nice to have you. I understand. Everyone understands what you meant. So what you been up to today?
So today I've been releasing the new version, a small patch for GramMars Wars. It's an English grammar game that we are developing here at Erudis Games.
Yeah. So is that pretty much what you do every day? Not a new release, maybe.
I am a software engineer, so I like to develop as much as I can.
Yeah.
Unfortunately or fortunately, depending who you are, I do have to do other things as a founder of a small startup, like marketing, writing emails, and things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to do some coding every damn day.
So we'll get to that question in a second. Tell us about you. Like, where were you born and raised? Where you go to school? Why are you in Lansing?
So, thanks for the question. I can now explain my broken English, right? I'm originally from Spain. I was born and raised there. My mom is actually from the States, so I have half nationality from the States, half from Spain. I'm originally from a little town named Mojácar. It's like probably when I was born, it were like 3,000 people. That's it. And it's known to be one of the last towns in Spain where Christians and Moroccans live together.
Is it a suburb of a bigger city, or is it just out in the middle, like rural?
It's like the Hobbit. It's just a small comarca in the middle of nowhere. It's next to the beach, so it's pretty. It's very beautiful. Great place to tourism. If one day we can get out of this.
Is it in the south, like towards Morocco?
Yeah, it's in the Mediterranean, in a province named Almeria in Andalusia.
It sounds beautiful.
Yeah. And
So you can't develop software there?
So that's fun fact. Like I think one of the reasons I became a software engineer and a good one is because the resources there, educational resources, they were so limited that if I wanted to advance, I had to figure it out myself, right? So I got into the internet, I went to forums, and I learned by myself. And somehow, even though I started like at age 14, because of the fact that I was exposed to these complex topics from the internet, I think I had an edge, so to speak, because I was so isolated, as opposed to I've been introduced to programming from high school, where the tune level, the difficulty bit by bit, so you don't get frustrated or anything like that.
Yeah, and they probably teach you what they want to teach you, where when you're learning what you want to learn, you're probably just solving a problem to get to the next level,
yes,
right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So what has your education all been teaching yourself how to code, or did you go to university?
So yeah. So one of the reasons I decided to do educational games is because how frustrated I was when I was in high school and in the school, right? For some reason, studying wasn't something that it motivates me. I was actually a pretty bad student. And I didn't have any incentives, or I didn't have the social infrastructure to keep pushing and force me to try to do well, right? Like my mom, she was working and I never met my father. So, it was more like I did bad. So I got bad grades, and that made me not wanting to be motivated to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons I'm making educational games is because I want some sort of motivational framework for people like me that, I'm competitive. I really like video games. And I think a lot of that has to do me learning programming was because my love of video games. And I thought, well, if I can create that kind of connection between education and video games, maybe I can motivate the next generation of me so I don't go behind, right? Because it is true, I am self-taught and I did okay, but I have a lot of fundamentals that I'm now at the age of 32 recovering, right? I have to go to college, I have to study now. It's a lot of energy, and it's because I lack that effort when I should have to put that effort.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, I never trust a software developer that did well in school.
Oh yeah?
Because I meet software developers all the time that hated high school. They were so bored with it, and they didn't understand why they couldn't learn at their own pace and the own things that they wanted to learn. I don't know. I like rebel software developers, maybe. So,
yeah, I think there is a point there, and I don't think one is better than another one. They're just different. Yeah.
Well, I didn't say anything about better. I just don't trust the ones that. So this, just to be clear to everybody, education and lifelong learning is important to you.
Yes.
Maybe how people stand in front of you in the classroom and lecture at you doesn't seem like the right thing for everybody.
I think there is always going to be a need for teachers and traditional lectures. I think that's going to change. It's not going to be so much of, oh, I'm going to teach you this curriculum and you're going to follow all these steps. I believe that in this world where it's more important to be able to adapt and acquire the skills on the fly to do a specific task is going to require a different type of education. So creating tools like our game GramMars was is going to be part of this new revolution, right? Where teachers make available all these tools that students can pick and use. And then the teachers will become more guides or orientators to expose what kind of things the students might do.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah.
Oh, keep going.
And I think that's more like the future. That's what we're seeing bit by bit, and it has to do more of motivating the student and less of, dictating what to study.
Yeah, students they can find out facts almost anywhere. It takes 2 seconds on Google to learn just about anything, and on YouTube you can learn all kinds of stuff. But learning to learn and being that lifelong learner and staying ahead of automation is going to be super important, I think, in these next economies.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we are talking about, the fourth industrial revolution, right? Where AI and machine learning is taking over most of the industries.
Yeah.
And it's happening faster now because of all this pandemic.
What do you think's going to happen with that? I mean, we're veering off into future economics or something, but do you see more leisure for humans, or do you see more despair for humans?
So it's going to depend a lot on. It's going to depend a lot on how we react, right? Part of it is how we can adapt to these new technologies. Like if the average person don't adapt and upskill their skills, right? if they are not able to use those machine learning tools. Like, for example, right now, Microsoft has released like a way to do machine learning without coding. You just put there the data, filter it out, and automatically creates you like, predictions or whatever you want to do with machine learning. And you don't need to do coding or anything.
Yeah.
If people learn, like in the general population is able to learn that kind of a skill and work with technology, I think most of us will do fine. The problem is if only 1% of the population knows how to do that, then that 1% of the population is going to keep all the resources, and we're going to see the same thing that we have seen right in the past, like the railroads monopolies and the classic economical history.
So let's jump into a little bit about the game and the company. So you're doing one game right now?
That's correct. We've been exploring with different games ideas, but we decided to nail down into this English grammar game. The intention is, let's make a very good one product, try to compete with Oxford, with Harvard, with all these other big companies that are trying to do a grammar game, but they, in my opinion, they completely fail. And see if we can, really make it succeed with this game, and from there build others.
So do you have, while we're talking about the Grammar Wars,
yes.
Do you want to, you've got a screen share. Do you want to show us some things?
Sounds
like
good.
how it works?
Let's do it.
All right. So I'll throw that up.
All right. So this is the main menu, right? And basically the game is pretty much an enhanced English grammar trivia. So you have different levels that you have to beat. And the idea is that, as you answer questions prompted by aliens, your little monsters will do damage. These monsters are very similar to Pokemon. If you answer them correctly with a good performance, you will do more damage. But if you miss, like this is a verb, right? I'm going to say towel. Now you're doing less damage.
Okay.
So the idea is that, you have an incentive to do well, to beat the aliens, especially the powerful ones. You need to do good proficiency. And the monsters, they can help you. Like this guy, he has an ability. He can attack the alien. So he's charged. So I'm going to click him. And suddenly I have an extra skill. So the monsters helps you. You can have that. In this case, we have a new type of questions that is not a taxonomy question. It's a tense. So I sometimes forget, right? It's a present simple. So fill the blank. And they like to host. So the idea is that, yes, we have an engaging combat system with all the animations and, some gameplay depth. And at the end of the game, you get some currency. Your monsters will also level up. So as they level up, you will do more damage. And with the currency that you earn, you can actually purchase new monsters, right? So let's go ahead and roll the dice and see if we can get a good monster. We put some of that currency in this box and we got a rare one, right? We have a texture bot now. Now we can grab him and we can equip it. So now we have 2 monsters in our team. So yeah, and now we can, as we play, so now when we play the next level, instead of just having 1 monster, we have 2 monsters. And both of them will damage the alien. So it's kind of like a Pokemon progression where you get new monsters, you put them into your team, and you can even evolve the monsters if you have the evolution materials. So we have all that, this is a RPG mechanic. And the reason we implemented this is because, look, answering these questions are not fun. Okay, it's boring, it's tedious. I mean, you could be playing Fortnite or you could be watching Netflix. Why would you be actually answering English questions? Well, now you have this edge, right? You have these monsters that you can level up, evolve, and even like compete with each other, right? Like if we click here, you get an English score, which is calculated from your proficiency with the questions, and you can rank against others, right? Like for example, I have 18 and rank 183, and you can see everyone else who's ranking there. So you want to bump up that English score. You want to level up those monsters. And this is a common effect in gaming. There are some games that are tedious and boring, and for some reason really addictive, because this progression system. A good example is if you have watched the South Park episode of World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Basically, it's in the episode, some kids are just killing a lot of pigs in the World of Warcraft game because it was the only way for them to level up. So they could beat like an evil guy who was killing everyone else.
Yeah.
So in the episode, they showcase the kids. Like they will miss school. They will skip basketball, and everything they were talking about was, going to the same level and kill pig by pig by pig. Very tedious, very boring, but for some reason they couldn't stop doing this, right? So that's a little bit of what we're trying to piggyback here. But instead of doing something meaningless like killing pigs, you're actually learning English grammar.
Is there a social component to it too? Like, can you chat with other players or anything like that?
So that's something that we want to add. We want to add the ability to be able to use one of the monsters of your friends. So instead of 4, now you have 5, right? So in a way, that's the social component. Right now, the social component that we have integrated is the fact that if you click on someone's profile, you can see their statistics and you can search for someone in the search bar. So,
all right.
So that's something, some social integration that we have so far, but we want to add some more. Like we have them in the backlog. We want to add that friendship system where you can share your monsters. We want to add clubs. Basically, you can join the club of East Lansing High School and together rank against other clubs, other high schools. So yeah.
Yeah. So I could see where I would be motivated right here to beat Johan, but I really want to beat Billy, who's in my class too, because he's a jerk.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it.
Exactly.
So anything else you want to show while the screen is up?
I guess the only other important part that I would like to mention is that we have a rating system that basically helps adapt the difficulty to your proficiency. So the best way to showcase it is in this learning mode, which is meant to be used only for learning. So right now my rating is 0, so I only see 2 options. But if I answer correctly, the difficulty will get harder and harder. So now I answer one question correctly. Now I have my rating 843. So I'm going to keep answering them correctly. And now I have like all these options, right? Now it's a little bit harder. And as you progress, if you get better and better proficiency, you have less time to get a perfect score. But also, the actual question becomes harder. And this is something that, it's I haven't seen this in the educational games, but I think it's very important to be able to make it appealing, challenging to the students.
Yeah.
So we dedicated quite a bit of time on creating this system. And you can see now that we have 12 questions, 12 answers in the screen.
Yeah, it seems challenging.
Yeah. And in learning mode, once you're finished, you actually get a grade that the game gives to you. So in this case, I'm going to get probably a C because I miss the last few aliens. And you also get some XP and some commander points to rank. and I got some English score. So before I was in position 168, right? Now because I actually answered some questions, I got my ranking to 108. So yeah.
All right. You want to show any more on the screen?
I think that's pretty much the gist of the game.
All right. So just real quick, I want to give a shout out to Luna Brown. He loved the Learning Company's educational games in the 90s, and he doesn't see them anymore. Is that? But agrees that that is an awesome way to learn. He gives good feedback to the unlockables and
90 educational games.
Oh yeah.
Here are a couple of them. Midnight Rescue, Math Blaster.
That's exactly what he said was
yes.
Reminds me of Math Blaster from back in the day.
Exactly. These are games from the golden age of educational games.
Yeah. And yes, Luna, they are going to do other subjects in the future as they navigate through their first one here. Or not really your first one, but sort of your first one, right?
Yeah, this is my first serious one.
Yeah. So, that it's very obvious to me that would help me with my grammar. It would help me learn. It would be more fun than just doing a worksheet. Do you have to have any evidence that their grades go up if they play the game, or do you have that, or is that hard to get?
It is hard to get. That's my ultimate goal. Try to link this game to actually getting better grades. But we're still trying to make sure that people wants to play it.
Yeah.
Because that's the first problem I want to fix. I want to make sure that, a student, when they give you the option of, hey, do you want to play GramMars Wars or do you want to play Fortnite? There will be some cases that they will choose GramMars Wars. And that's hard. That's very hard in today's economy because you are competing with so many platforms, right? You're competing with Netflix, with Facebook, with Instagram, with TikTok. Yeah. And getting the attention of the new generation is probably one of the hardest things that a human could do in these days.
Yeah, it is an economy of attention. I mean, my phone's already rang 3 times since we've been on this interview. Probably someone's rang the doorbell, but I'm not looking. So yeah, exactly. Sounds tough.
It is, especially considering the resources we have is 0 versus the resources that TikTok has, which is billions. It's you need to be very creative on your approach and optimize very, very well and do the right decisions to make sure you are prioritizing the important things, because one mistake and you might lose a couple of months of very, very, very needed time.
Yeah. I want to just throw your website up there real quick. So it's grammarwars.com. Is the Mars, are we fighting Martians here?
So the game is in Mars. At the time, I thought it was a clever name. Yeah. A little bit confusing, to be honest, but I just like the game, and we set up all the world in Mars. Yes, so you can see Mars in the background of the game. We have the space theme, all the stuff.
So when Elon Musk buys Mars, is he going to be upset, or you still be able to use the name? Do you know?
I mean, that's my ultimate plan. Sell the game to Elon Musk.
All right. What do you? We talked a little bit before the show, so you need kids to test, right?
Oh, yes, that's correct. I'm looking for volunteers who wants to play test the game. I really need some feedback to be able to improve this game. So if you are interested, contact me, Johan the Bruin. You can search me in GramMars Wars. There is a contact page. Send me an email, and I will appreciate that a lot. we'll get your name in the credits of the game if you help us out.
All right. So can Luna, he's like, I don't know how old Luna is really, maybe 25. Can adults help too?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, to be honest, I created the game first for me. Like I am the user persona of my game, in a way of saying. And it is challenging. Like my mom is playing it all the time, and she's learning things every day. And we actually have an advanced version. Like the game is free to play, but if you pay the subscription, which is $1, you can access the advanced topics and learn about like sentence composition, things like subject complements, direct and indirect object, and some other topics that most adults, to be frank, have forgotten.
Yeah. Do you know who Kate Turabian is?
No.
She wrote a grammar book that we all had to read, at least in advanced placement English in the 80s. So maybe she's way out by now. But I think about that book versus playing this game. I would much rather play this game, even if I was, 18 years old.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it's eventually I want to add like college level content. It's something that if we manage to get the money, the revenue, I will hire like an English teacher, and then we will like push the level a lot higher.
yeah. So what would you say your mission is? Why are you making this game? Why are you going to make games that teach us stuff?
My mission is to change education.
Yeah.
I really think I suffered a lot when I was young. I couldn't engage with education. I really haven't gotten motivated. And I think there is a lot of kids out there that they have that motivational need. And I want to create a competitive outlet to create that motivation. Maybe you don't want to learn grammar. Maybe you think it's boring. But if you have this game that forces you to use the grammar skill from school to be able to compete with your friends, this might be enough to put some effort at the school. And that's what I want to get to.
How many people are on the leaderboard right now?
So we have roughly 1,000 people in the leaderboard. Since we implemented the leaderboard features, we have 1,000 new players.
Okay. So anybody out there who's listening, and I'll put this in a post too, if you download the game and get to in the top 100 on the leaderboard, I'll give you a 20 Fledge coin. All right. So another incentive. And Luna said he's going to share it with some teachers that he knows. And I will do the same. So everybody else do the same too. Get some kids on here. Support Lansing, by the way. So in the beginning, and we got to go on here soon. Well, actually, what do you do every damn day to get towards that mission?
So I try to push the game a little bit further. And some days it's just fixing a couple of bugs that they are so annoying that people don't even notice them, right? But
you do.
And other days is like promoting the game, creating social media marketing, trying to get someone to play test it. Every day I try to have a highlight, and that highlight is normally adding value to the product. Everything that is adding a little bit of value, it's what I try to do.
Okay. You said it in the beginning of when you were we were just introducing you. You said now you can explain your broken English. Yeah, you must know I mean, you were answering those questions. I don't know if you must know English though.
Yes.
What's the difference between poor grammar and broken English?
That's a good question. I guess that when you have broken English, you can say that your English is broken because it's not something that is your native language, right?
Yeah.
It's something extra. It's a tool that you use. English is not my main way of thinking. So when I'm using English, it's a tool and it can't be broken. But if you have a poor grammar and you are a native speaker, your main way of being, your main way of thinking can't be broken, right? It's just deficient. So you better improve that grammar.
Because it seems to me like you don't have broken English. I mean, you have an accent for sure,
Yes.
but yeah, I don't know what you
So,
meant by that.
so to be honest, after 2 years developing the content for GramMars Wars, it did a miracle for my English in general. I remember that I wanted to improve. The reason I wanted to improve my grammar is because professionally it was limiting me, right? To be able to have a good communication skills, you need to be able to communicate efficiently. And my co-workers at Riot Games, they were telling me, hey, Johan, you need to improve your grammar. You know, you want to become a senior software engineer, you need to improve your grammar. And it was bad. And I've tried to find a good grammar game because, you know, I like video games. And I couldn't find it. So I'm like, you know what? Instead of becoming a senior software engineer, I quit my job. I'm going to make my own grammar game. And in a way, I think it worked, right? Because you're telling me, hey, your English is good. So I'm okay. So by creating the game, I did improve my grammar, and I'm hoping that by playing it, it will improve the grammar of others.
Yeah, so you and I must have met like 2 or 3 years ago. Now I'm trying to remember if your grammar was worse.
By that time, I already developed the game for 6 months, so I was like in between.
So English, is there a need for a game like this in Spanish?
Probably.
Yeah.
I think the next step is actually going to try to get this same framework to be to have different content. Like in the we are already developing in the backlog the ecology version of GramMars Wars. And we are also and actually I talked to a friend, to my niece actually, who's a lawyer in Spain, and she might do the Spanish version of this game.
Is it that seems like it's not just like localization and internationalization, right? You can't just change the labels and make it. It's everything.
Mean, luckily, Spanish and English, they do have some common ground, and some of the learning objectives, they can be translated. But most of the grammar rules, some of the grammar rules, they don't apply. Like in English, I think we have like 12 tenses. In Spanish, we have 18, 20 tenses. In English, a few verbs are irregular. In Spanish, every verb is irregular. So there are some probably half of the content will need to be original for the Spanish version.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a question later related to that, but I'm going to go on to the part of the show where we kind of daisy chain the shows together. So yesterday on the show, I had Alex, and she is a piercer, a musician, and she wanted me to ask you the question, what motivates you to create?
So I like to be exposed to the topic I'm engaging with, right? So in my case, it's education. So I like to watch a lot of educational YouTube channels. I like to play other educational games. I like to read about different topics. I have like this encyclopedia books about math, about science, about religion. I just try to learn as much as I can, because after using that, being exposed to that theme helps me to get inspired into, maybe improving my grammar game, or maybe creating a new educational game. So just engage with the culture and the theme that you're working with.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Tomorrow on the show, I have Ashiki Guy, who has formed or is the co-founder of Black Wall Street of Lansing, which is a business association of Black-owned businesses. And she also does other things, but we'll talk to her tomorrow. What question would you like to ask Ashiki?
So I am a technologist. So I'm going to ask, how will you use technology to help everyone else?
And I think I always turn that question, and I'm really curious what she has to say, because she's an activist. She's a direct action. She wants to move, and I don't know if she's always thinking about technology as she is just about getting out there and making stuff happen. So I'm really curious what her answer is. With you, it kind of seems obvious what your answer is going to be, but what's been on my mind this whole time as we were talking about English and Spanish, could you build a platform that would help you get to other languages quicker?
I actually already have it. All the GramMars game is actually managed through Google Sheets. So if I want to change the content, the only thing I have to do is to change those Google Sheets. So technically, I can grab those Google Sheets, give them to my niece, and she can develop the Spanish version.
And then it would boom. It is as easy almost as internationalization. Not that that's easy, but internationalization and localization.
Yeah, it's the same principle.
Oh, awesome. Yes. Way ahead of us. That's good, because Luna has trouble with the feminine and masculine and the Romance language, and Cindy, who has a grandson he took a break to listen for a little bit, but had to go to a virtual class, and she was also interested in Spanish. So
good to know. I might fast track the Spanish version then.
Maybe. I mean, it's the second fastest growing language in America, and I've heard predictions it'll take over English soon, or someday. Not soon. I don't know what soon means. That 100 years. What would we forget? We've got your website out there. We need some testers. They can maybe get credit if they really help, and I'll definitely give some Fledge coin if you're out there using it and trying it out. And how is there a difference between just downloading and starting to use it and somebody you would want? Do you identify your testers, or do you just want comments or feedback through the game or the app?
Honestly, I'm open to anything. Like if you just want to leave it a message, a review in Google Play, I will read it. If you want to message me and give me a through, feedback, I will also read that. If you want to meet with me and have an in-person playtest, I would love that. Also, like if you want to get a subscription, like if you want to get the pro stuff, right? Right now the subscription, depending how long, it could cost between $1 and $10. But if you give me some feedback, any feedback, I will give you the subscription for free, plus some goodies in the game. So that is some little incentive for you.
All right. So I think we've got at least 3 people that might be interested in helping you test and helping push that out. So that's a little bit of a start. So thank you, Megan. Thank you, Cindy, and thank you, Luna.
Thank you.
And always reach out to the Fledge if you need to get a hold of Johan if you can't find it on the website itself. We forgetting anything?
I don't know.
All right, then we'll keep going. I've added recently to my list of questions, what is happiness to you, and are you happy?
Such a deep question, Jerry. So I think it depends on your personality and in your values, right? Every person is different. In my case, I'm an accomplisher. I like to accomplish things. So being able to get something done, being able to, hit certain milestone, could be getting a certificate, could be getting 100 players in GramMars Wars. That's what really makes me feel happy, and what allows me to sleep, have a deep sleep every night.
Nice. And you do feel happy?
Yeah, I think we accomplished a lot. I think most of the people don't put the effort to create something and deliver it to the world like we did. I'm still not satisfied, to be honest. I still think there is a long way to go. But if suddenly everything ends now, I will be happy that at least I got this far.
Nice. Maybe this will make you happy too. Luna's already playing.
Woo.
What would you like to take us out with?
So I think we need to keep pushing. Everyone has a society. Things are going to be hard. Things are hard right now, and they're going to keep being hard. And I think more now than ever, we need to join together and try to think about, not only on yourself, but on everyone else, and how we can together, get to the next step. Like, not only get back to where we were, but actually improve of what we had. And that's going to only happen if we all work together as a community and as humanity.
That's right. We're stronger together. We're better together. Let's keep pushing. We can get this. We got this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Every damn day, every day at 2 p.m. And we will see you later. See you, Johan.
Bye-bye.